Previously on the last Pokemon Crystal Challenge run. Absolutely fine, maybe. And coming up, look at it. It is terrible. I have good news and bad news. The good news is we're going back to our main classic series challenges. The bad news is we're running Lickitung. I have run Lickitung twice before through Pokemon Crystal. Once before I started the channel and once in a run that never got released. And I know what is up ahead against me and I am not looking forward to it in the slightest. Lickitung is not a good Pokemon. I do apologise if Lickitung is your favourite, but it is rubbish. We have level 5 with 25 HP holding a berry with just Lick. 12 in attack, 14 in defense, 12 in special attack, 14 in special defense, and just 9 in speed for our Lickitung. So we will get the graphics up, and before we get into this challenge, I think it will be nothing short of a miracle if we get sub 2 hours. I've got the challenge run browser up on screen. I reckon we're going to be placing after our original Houndoom run, to be perfectly honest. I have planned for another run over 3 hours. We only have 3 at the moment, Sunflora, Magcargo and Shuckle, who are over 3 hours. Lickitung might be giving them company. I do also have a genuine dislike of this Pokemon in Generation 2. I'm going to keep a very open mind throughout the course of this challenge. I'll probably complain and whinge and moan an awful lot, but please do rest assured I will be having some kind of fun in this challenge, no matter how frustrated I seem to get at times. And with this one, I have also planned to record across 2 days. I've decided to start the recording early on the same day as Corsola and Rapidash, so that hopefully I can make a little bit of inroads and reduce my workload tomorrow. Now the first thing you'll notice is we can't hit any normal types, so that means we are going to be on the struggle bus quite a lot in this challenge in the early part of the game. We are playing on daytime in the hopes that we will find some kind of Pokemon that we can hit. Maybe if we get very lucky, we will find a Hoppip or 2 in this challenge. There's another Pokemon we can't hit. There's no sense in depleting PP before we have spoken to Mr. Pokemon as well. We will try and take the KOs as and where we can in these particular wild encounters on the way up, though. The more bugs we encounter, the more we can gain in experience points. And I really am knuckling down for the long haul in this one. You can probably tell by how much I'm stumbling already. This challenge is one of the more intimidating challenges. It's not necessarily a bad challenge in theory, but it is a huge mountain to climb. You get rid of one problem with Lickitung, and then 3 others come up to replace them, unfortunately. It is the nature of Lickitung in Generation 2. It got a huge buff in Generation 4, and actually Licky is one of my all-time favourite Pokemon. I found a shiny Lickitung in Pokemon Go, made it my buddy, it evolved into a Licky, and I just developed a real affinity for the Pokemon. But I was very happy to get rid of the actual Lickitung quick sharpen in a hurry, because I'd already suffered through a lot of pain doing the first Lickitung challenge I ever did. Well before I had a YouTube channel creating this kind of content, I did do a Lickitung challenge. I think somewhere hidden in the depths of my Discord channel there is a record of at least how long it took me, how many resets, and how much pain and suffering there was. I wish there was footage of it, because it was not a good challenge in the slightest. Now we're getting very unlucky finding Hoppip at the moment, but we are kind of getting a little bit lucky by finding a bunch of Caterpie. Caterpie are going to boost our defense with a stat experience here, because Caterpie is a fairly bulky line for a first stage anyway. And we only have 7 licks left before we can move on. Now I've decided that Struggle is probably going to be our best move against the first rival battle, which is why we're depleting all of this PP now. And we're going to have to do another PP grind after we have defeated the rival, because we are going to get that mandatory heal. Let us grab this berry here. We'll also grab the extra one from the tree. We will use a potion as opposed to a berry. We will give another berry to our Lickitung. And we'll see just how bad Rival 1 is, going in at the 3 minutes and 27 second mark. I've given him Chikorita because I hate fun. And we'll see just how well or badly we do. We are speed tied with this Chikorita, so if we get bad rolls, we will be in trouble. We get good rolls though, we learn Supersonic. That is not a useful move in the slightest. And there we go, we're back up to 30 bloomin' licks again. Let us have a little chat with the police officer here in Elm's lab. We'll talk to Elm, we'll threaten him if he ever gives us a Lickitung again. We'll get the Pokeballs, try and wish that we could catch something a little bit more useful, and we will leave, making our way towards Violet City. Now, it's at this point I want to say I'm not going for best possible time in the slightest with Lickitung. I am going for strategies that will preserve my sanity. There's going to be a lot of early game grinding, there's going to be a lot of early game leveling up, because quite frankly I think it might end up being quicker and easier at the very least if I just put in the grind now, because we are in fast, so that we can get our first actual attacking move at level bloomin' 19. In order to get to 19 though, we have to find Pokemon that we can attack. Now that in and of itself is a problem, because most Pokemon we're coming up against at the moment are part normal type, like this Pidgey. And we can't exactly deplete our PP against the Pidgey, because it can hit us. So we are in our first catch-22 of many in this particular challenge run. We are going to have to conserve as much HP as possible while depleting a further 40 power points before we even get an opportunity to attack youngster Mikey's Pidgey and his Rattata. So I'm going to get on with depleting all of these power points. There's a Hoppip. We can absolutely make good work of this Poppip, and I will meet back up with you whenever we are done with this. The first Hoppip helped us deplete a lot of power points, and the second Hoppip helped as well. We are now in struggle range once more. We'll use another potion and we will make our way through the grass, getting encounters of course, double encounters because this game is mean, and we will take on youngster Mikey. Hopefully level 8 with struggle will be enough to see us through. It's looking like it will be, you know. One shot on the Pidgey, it's going to be a 2-shot on the Rat, and we have defeated Mikey. That means we get to progress ever so slightly further through this game. Prepare yourselves, folks. This could be a very, very long video. I don't know how long, because I don't know how many attempts it's going to take us to get through certain trainers, but unfortunately, if you don't like long videos, you're going to be in for a very long ride on this one. I am trying to figure out what the best strategy is for the next part of the challenge as well. Whether we try and risk Falkner, which is probably a bad idea, or whether we go and do a heal and do Sprout Tower first. I tell you what, we do have a potion and we have a berry. Let us at least attempt Falkner, or at least part of the gym, and see how bad it is. We're taking fair amounts of damage here from the Spearow, but not enough to keep me that concerned. We do have an extra berry in the bag as well. We get through the first Bird Keeper. We are going to buy a few more potions here so that we can then get back up to full health a couple of times. We'll move on to the second Bird Keeper. We're going to do this one without a berry, because we do need the berry for our third gym battle, of course, against Falkner. It's going to be 3 shots on that first Pidgey, Out comes Pidgey number 2, and hopefully it will be just 3 shots again. Now, we aren't going to be going in with full health unless we use 2 potions. Do we have 2 potions? Yes, we do. I'm going to waste that second potion on 2 whole HP. Let's now try Falconer, see how bad it is. We might be able to get through. If we can't, I will go back to the Sprout Tower and I will do some training. We're through the Pidgey, thank goodness. How about this Pidgeotto? I think it might be hopeless unless we get a crit with struggle. Actually, you know, we might be through. We are through, goodness me. 0 resets. LICKITUNG, I am proud of you for that one. 10 minutes and 10 seconds, no shame in that with LICKITUNG's learn set. Let us get the heck out of here, and we will make our way in to the Pokemon Center. We'll do a quick heal now because we don't have any mandatory normal types for a while. We will grab the egg. We have to grab the egg, of course. We'll deposit it straight away into the box. And now I'm going to start climbing Sprout Tower. And now at the top of Sprout Tower, we're not actually going to face the Elder. We are just going to grab the escape rope. We've got all the easy experience out of here, so we will leave. We'll do another hill in the Pokemon Center, and we will start making our way down towards the Union Cave. We'll get the Prosecure Berry en route. I'm absolutely confident that we'll need more than one of those throughout the course of this challenge, and we are back to selectively facing the wild Pokemon and the trainers who don't have normal types. One of them includes Picnicker Liz here with her Nidoran female, and look at how little we are doing against it. We really have everything stacked up against us at the moment in this challenge. Doesn't matter if it grounds at us because I think we were only doing 1 HP anyway there. We'll grab the Repel, not sure if we're even going to bother with that. We might end up wanting and needing as many... Hoppip, can you stop? We might end up wanting and needing as many... Cease, Hoppip! As many wild encounters as we can get, is what I was trying to spit out there before being healing looped by a bloomin' wild Hoppip of all things. How much do we do against this Poliwag? A fair amount, and Poliwag can't hit us too hard, but it can send us to bloomin' sleep. Please be a short sleep, there we go. We've got another one of those, but these are really good early game stat experience, and just generally good experience overall. We're through him. Do we try the Goldeen? Can we get through a Goldeen in 5 licks? No, we can't. First reset, because we can't beat a Goldeen. Let us take another bloomin' heal, and we'll backtrack. We'll take on even more trainers. Gordon, you've got a Wooper. Do your worst, Gordon. We'll just start slowly licking this. What is Wooper? Is it some kind of axolotl salamander kind of thing? Whatever it is, we had a good lick of it, and we're moving back onto the Goldeen. I think we'll be able to get through in 24 licks. Although we don't outspeed the Goldeen, we're going to have to hope for a paralysis. There we go. So we can now just keep on licking. We've only got 5 levels until we get an attacking move. It will feel like an eternity. Now here in the Union Cave, I'm not going to bother sticking on a Repel. I don't think it's worth it. I think we are better off taking as many wild encounters as we can, because it's a low likelihood of finding a normal type, and that means that we are able to at least attack some of these Pokemon. We are going to be slowly but surely whittling down as many of them as we can. Was it a mistake taking on this Onix? Absolutely. Am I still going to do it? Absolutely as well. Because Onix holds a lot of experience inside of it, and we need all of it to try and get to level 19 as quickly as we possibly can. Are we going to be knocked out by the Onix? That is the question. We survive on 3 HP. We did get a Super Potion, we're going to use it, and we're going to keep on going through. I don't think we want to face any Geodude though. That Onix is enough for me to feel a little bit too worried about the Geodude, so if you could stop aligning with me, I would be very happy. There we go. We probably also don't want to take on the Coughing line, because Coughing is a very, very bulky Pokemon. But up here is a Slowpoke, and Slowpoke is weak to Ghost, so we might be able to get a few hits in on it. Still not doing much, is it? It's going to end up being a 4-shot on that, but we are up to level 15. I don't think we can learn Swift because we are nowhere near fast enough. And we've got a Zubat here. How much does Lick do against the Zubat? It's still 2 shots, even with the Zubat drinking us. There's the wrap. We can do nothing on that. We can do nothing actually on any Pokemon at the moment because we are out of attacking PP. However, we are now in Azalea Town. We are going to grab a bunch of Super Potions. We'll buy a few Repels as well. We will then go into the Pokemon Center, replenish our PP. We'll have a little chat with Kurtz, but we're not going to take on Team Rocket yet, because we have another mandatory normal type coming up. Instead, we're going to go in the forest. We're just going to beat things up until we get to level 19 now. And now as we're doing the grind, I do want to mention that I know that we can learn Mud Slap. However, that will do nothing against Bugsy's Scyther, and Lick will absolutely not be enough to take care of Bugsy's Scyther, so I do think it is going to be worth getting all the way up to 19 now, so that we've at least got a fairly strong stab move against Bugsy. Because otherwise I think we could be up the creek without a paddle against him, to be quite honest. I also got fooled by Lickitung's colour. I just assumed it was in the fast experience group, but nope. We are in medium fast, just another reason why this Pokemon is not particularly great for challenge running purposes, because that means we are on a heck of a struggle to get ourselves up to level 19. We will soon pivot, I think, to taking on Team Rocket. I hope that Mud Slap will be enough to get through at least the Rattata. It's going to be short but sweet for Mud Slap. Now, we have been poisoned there. Do we have a full heal? Yes, we do. Let us keep on going. I wanted to try and get to level 17 before we even think about taking on Team Rocket, and then hopefully we will get an extra 2 levels by the time we get to Bugsy. At the moment though, Bugsy feels like a million miles away. It's back on to the grind I go. And that is level 17 acquired. I really hope we're able to get 2 levels in the Rocket section, but I've got a horrible feeling we will not. Let us now teach Mud Slap to our Lickitung, and we'll try and make our way through Team Rocket. Starting off with a double rat trainer, that does mean we are going to have to use Mud Slap, and we're going to end up using over half of our Mud Slaps on this one trainer, because it's 3 shots on both of them, but we did gain some experience. I have a feeling, you know, we're going to end up back in the Ilex Forest quicker than we would hope, because it's not looking like we're even going to get 1 level out of the early trainers here in the Team Rocket section. Now, we could be using Mud Slap here, but I think it'd be much of a muchness when we have to conserve as much PP as we can. We'll see if we can get up to level 18 at the very least. Now, the Ilex Forest is going to close itself off after we have defeated all of the Team Rocket trainers, so we are going to have to go back into the forest before taking on the last one if we want to get some easy experience points, because of course the Pokemon on the other side of Azalea Town, so Slowpoke, Well and eastwards, are much lower leveled. So it's back on the grind to level 19. They say that slow and steady wins the race, but they clearly haven't met this Lickitung. It's not going to win anything. We do, however, now have our grubby mitts on Stomp. We have reached level 19 in just under half an hour. Let us now take on this final Rocket, and hopefully Stomp will at least 2-shot this blooming Coughing. Yes, it does. The worst days, at least for now, are over. we have an attacking move that can actually hit normal types, and we can make our way into our second gym together. This is Bugsy's Bug-type gym. We are massively over-leveled for the gym trainers, but we are still not in for a guaranteed easy ride. We're going to be slower than the Scyther, and I don't know how many hits it's going to take to knock it out. The good news is, there's zero pressure on me at all in this challenge. It's just going to be a miracle to get it over the blooming line. I'm already thinking about what I'm going to do tomorrow to get through Red. I'm probably going to take a break after we get Headbutt, because this is the little bonus extra recording session at the start of the day, at the end of the day rather. I am due to be playing this one. Oh, you absolute horrible person, Bugcatcher Josh. I'm due to be playing this one tomorrow, not today, but I did want to get a head start, so I didn't feel too rushed tomorrow, because tomorrow is a stream day for me. So that means that at 2 PM my time, I'm not going to be able to play any more of this Lickitung. Let's take on Bugsy now. Second gym leader. Bug-type specialist. Led with Metapod, went down in 2. Kakuna goes down in 1. We're at full health for the Scyther. And it's looking like a 3-shot. Fury Cutter doesn't crit, we grow to level 21. And we obtain the Hive badge in 30 minutes and 56 seconds. We normally average around about 5 minutes per badge. We're averaging at 15 minutes per badge at the moment. Let's take on Rival 2. Not expecting greatness here, but stranger things have happened. He leads with Ghastly, we will Mud Slap it, and 2 shots knocks it out. Up next is Zubat, we outspeed and we 1-shot. And here comes the Bayleaf. Growl has failed, Poison Powder has missed, and we 3-shot. Nice. Rival 2 is defeated. Let us now work our way through the Ilex Forest. And here in the forest we will get ourselves the Scythe. That will let us get through that pesky cut tree just here. And we are also going to be getting ourselves Headbutt on this challenge. Even though we've just learnt Stomp, it's going to be a very, very brief affair with Stomp, because I reckon we're going to be teaching Headbutt over it straight away. Hello, green-haired man staring at the tree. You don't get to speak to us very often these days. But we will get ourselves TMO2 rather, and we will also get ourselves the Tree Shaker should we need to battle any wild Pokemon in the trees for whatever reason. I've decided to get rid of Supersonic actually, so that we have 2 attacking moves. That seems to be a sensible idea. And by 2 attacking moves, I mean 2 stab moves, of course. That does mean we can now make our way out of the forest. We'll take on Picnicagina, and it is such a great feeling to be one-shotting things at long last. We didn't one-shot anything at all before learning Stomp. So now we are speeding up ever so slightly. The progress is slow and steady with Lickitung, but we are now in Goldenrod as well, where we can think about learning some of those punches. I think the punches are going to be pivotal for us in this challenge. We are slightly better in our special attack versus our physical attack, so we can make use of the punches as and when we need to. Although, having said that, we still don't have great special attack. It's just 60 in our special attack, so those punches might not be as useful as they otherwise would be if we had a little bit more attacking prowess behind us. The good news is we seem to be one-shotting these Magnemite, and the bad news is as soon as I draw attention to it, we stop one-shotting these Magnemite. We'll get the coin case though so that we can get our Rentalabra, and we will take on this Lickitung. We know how you feel, Pokemaniac Isaac. We have a Lickitung. And honestly, you're not forced to have it. I'm forced to have it to complete the leaderboard, so I can chalk mine up to necessity. Yours is just bad taste, Isaac. Let's get ourselves Abra now. Wish we could have an actual Abra on our team. I think an Abra with teleport would be a little bit more useful than this Lickitung at times, and I am truly sorry if you're a Lickitung fan, because you'd be coming into this video thinking I'm my usual positive self, and there I am poo-pooing it. And now here in National Park is one of the single most important items we'll be getting throughout the entire challenge, the Quick Claw. It is so important, in fact, that we're going to equip it straight away. We have just 30 in speed. I don't know what Game Freak was thinking when they designed this Pokemon. But at least the Quick Claw gives us a chance, a 23 and a bit % chance to outspeed Pokemon that would otherwise go first. We get through Psychic Mark absolutely easily there. Now I'm going to risk School by Alan here. It might be an error, but I want the experience from his Tangela. We get the flinch. We get up to level 25. Wrap? No. Why? Why Wrap? Why is our only half-decent level-up move Stomp at level 19? All of the rest of those moves are hot garbage. We have no need for any of those on our learn set. Game Freak, why did you hate Lickitung so much and then make it such a prominent part of the anime? Jessie had a perfectly viable Lickitung, and you really did just lie to all of your impressionable children audience, making Lickitung look like a half-decent Pokemon when just look at it. It is terrible. Let's take on Whitney now. We two-shot the Clefairy. How many shots is it going to be on the cow? As she critical hits us, but she's locked herself into rollout. We get through Whitney first try, and we obtain ourselves the plain badge in 36 minutes and 48 seconds. Goodness me, and that is where I am calling it for the night. We are going to get ourselves the Squirts bottle. We'll go into the Pokemon Center. We'll do a quick PP heal. And I'm off to bed now. And it is now the next morning. Day 2 of Lickitung, hopefully the final day of this Lickitung challenge. And can we get return yet? Yes, we can. We'll be learning that a little bit later on. Now, I think it's going to be useful to get one of each punch to get us started. In fact, let's get a second Ice Punch as well. And now I've been doing a lot of thinking about how I want to play Lickitung. And I've a feeling, you know, we might end up needing Hidden Power to get through Morty. We're still going to start off by doing Fast Ecruteak. Still going to go up the Lighthouse. But then I've a feeling we're going to go into Ecruteak Pokemon Center so that we can go and get Hidden Power a little bit earlier than we otherwise normally would when we're running a Pokemon that does have coverage that can defeat Morty. That is the plan at the moment. You never know, things could change, but this one is very much up in the air. I'll definitely think about giving it a go without Hidden Power in the first attempt, because honestly, losing 20 seconds in this challenge is not going to be the end of the world. It's one of those challenges where we're just going to get it over the line by hook or by crook. I'm taking on a few extra trainers as well because we need all the experience points that we can get in this one, unfortunately. I think as many battles as we can take is the way to do this. So let us now say hello and goodbye to Ecruteak City straight away. And we will take on Beauty Olivia. How much do we do against her Corsola? A critical hit's nice. That was actually a fairly good battle. Let us now move on and take on a few more trainers on the way to Olivine, and we'll start climbing the Lighthouse. And now we have made it into Olivine City, we'll pick up our regular set of repels here. We'll get 12 super repels, and we will also go into the cafe here. We're going to get Strength and the Burly Man's phone number, and we're actually going to be teaching Strength on this challenge. It's a good do-for move, it'll do for now. So we will go and teach Strength over Stomp, and then I think we'll also go and use this opportunity to replace Mud Slap with Fire Punch. I'd rather hold on to Lick over Mud Slap because Lick can paralyse, so we do have a chance of then outspeeding the opponents if we get a very lucky paralysis with Lick. And with both of them being super effective against ghosts, I think it was much of a muchness. And when I say super effective against ghosts, I mean specifically the ghosts that we come up against. Now we've been sent to sleep. I've just woke up, Noctowl. I don't want to be sent back to sleep. I want to get this one all the way to the end. That is part of the issue, actually. with Lickitung. All of the battles are slow and sluggish. You don't have many battles where you outspeed on one shot, so that adds and adds and adds to the time, because we're not actually doing that badly on paper. If you look at our resets, we've only had a single reset, and that was because of a silly fish. The rest of the time, we have had good staying power. It's just been we've not had good offensive power to go with our staying power, because if Lickitung has one thing in abundance, it is health, which is great for most battles, but then when you get cursed, it doesn't matter quite so much, because it takes off a quarter of your health each and every turn. So that is one of the things that worries me about Lickitung, among many, many other things. Now Jasmine's telling us a cock and bull story about Amphi being very, very sick. We'll ignore it. We'll take on some more trainers. We'll start thinking about heading back towards Ecruteak in just a moment. I'm purposely taking on this Fearow, by the way, because of its attack stat experience. Really am trying to focus on as many ways to boost our offensive capabilities as possible. And I think we'll do full trainers in the Lighthouse on this particular challenge, because again, it will all help in the end, because I know what's coming later on, and it's not pleasant. Let's get out of here now. Let us do another quick heal in the Olivine Pokémon Center, and we'll make our way back to Ecruteak. After a little think, I think the best order for us to do will be to first of all take on this Bird Keeper. He's got a lot of attack stat experience locked behind him. Then Kimono Girls, then the Rival, and then we'll see how we are at Morty. If we can avoid using Hidden Power, that would be great. If it's unavoidable, it's not that much of a time loss, but we're going to try and get as much experience points as we can before even thinking about taking on Morty. It's a one-shot on Flareon. That's a very good sign, actually. Flareon's one of the bulkier of all of the evolutions. We one-shot the Espeon as well there. We're not going to learn Disable. Disable is, quite frankly, a terrible move. How do we do against the Umbreon? That is not bad at all. Almost a one-shot. I am thinking this Lickitung might actually be able to put in the work. I might have got a very good Lickitung for once. It's the first time I'm playing with perfect DVs. I've always gone for Hidden Power Ground before on the Lickitung. And maybe perfect DVs is the answer to this Pokemon. We get through the Kimono Girls with the relative ease there. We get ourselves Surf, which we can learn in a pinch, and we get the Raft. And now we will make our way in to the Burnt Tower, where we have another battle waiting for us. It's going to be Rival 3 time, and this time he's going to lead with his Ghost. Let's see how we get on. I doubt Lick's going to do too much, although I am curious. Not that much. Fair enough. We'll Fire Punch though on turn number 2. Magnemite should go down in a single Fire Punch. And up next is Zubat. We'll swap to Strength for the Zubat. And our next Pokemon is Bayleaf. Take a little bit of damage there. Razor Leaf does next to nothing. And we get through Rival 3 rather, on our first time. It's Rival 3 to get badge number 4 as we fall through the floor. And we'll see just how bad Morty is. And now I've ended up taking on a couple of extra trainers to get ourselves up to level 34. That is so that we don't have a multiple of 4 for our HP, so we can survive an extra turn of Curse. This is Morty though. I reckon we might take a reset here, depending on how badly it goes. We get through the first Ghastly, we burn the Haunter and it knocks itself out. Here comes the Gengar. Right, I reckon we go for Lick here and hope that we can paralyse it. That's probably going to be our best bet. That means we're going to outspeed the Gengar now. We can swap to Fire Punch. We grow to level 35 and the next Haunter comes out. It should just be 2 Fire Punches now to knock it out, and we defeat Morty on our first try, obtaining the Fog Badge in a time of 48 minutes and 14 seconds. That one definitely required a little bit of strategy, not a lot of strategy, but a little bit more strategy than we are used to in recent challenges to get through. Probably didn't need to go for the extra level after all of that, but I'm never going to complain at a little bit of extra experience points in any of our challenges. I'm now going to take on our standard Nido trainers, get ourselves a little bit more experience points, and then we'll take on the lake. So I've taught Thunder Punch in preparation for the Lake of Rage Gyarados battle, just in case we are able to make miracles happen. I've also got all the way back up to full health because Dragon Rage terrifies me. It's only a 2-shot, not bad. I mean, it is quad weak, but a 2-shot is nothing to be too ashamed of. We'll now have a little chat with Lance. We will make our way over towards the other side of the lake. We'll pick up the bits that we want from here. We're going to get everything, I think, today, including the extra elixir. Quite often it is baits, but with the amount of Pokemon that are taking more than one hit to go down, I think it's worth grabbing the extra one so we don't have to do an extra Pokemon Center heal if we're in the middle of a long building where it would take us a very long time to get out and then get back in again to keep on progressing. We'll pick up Hidden Power, may or may not use it, not 100% sure, but it's very good to have. It's going to be super effective against ghost types with it being Hidden Power Dark. But with that, we can get all the way back now to Olivine City if I don't get lost in menu purgatory. And it'll be time to sail the open seas and think about our next gym. And now our next gym, of course, is going to be a gym where we have the type disadvantage, with us being the normal type and Chuck being a fighting type specialist. So this one could be a little bit more difficult than we'd like it to be. I'm hoping that being majorly over-leveled will give us a bit of a leg up in this particular gym though. The backup strat is to go and do Jasmine next, because I think we could easily tank an Iron Tail or two. But there is no harm in giving Chuck a go, at least to see how bad his gym trainers are. We might be able to scrape an extra level out of his gym trainers, and then that might make Jasmine easier if we aren't able to get through Chuck. This is one of those challenges where I do think that multiple attempts would be the play to get an accurate and fair time for Lickitung, but with how much RNG is dependent at the start of the challenge, because you've got to deplete your PP to get through the first few trainers that are mandatory, I never think you're going to get 100% accurate time with Lickitung. So my focus on this one is just getting it across the line and having as much fun as I can at the same time. I really am starting to find my groove with Lickitung now. I've had my disagreements with it, had our little moments together, and now we are definitely working as a team. And now with all of the gym trainers out of the way, we will give Chuck a go. He is our 5th gym leader together today, a fighting type specialist who leads with Primeape. I do also want to say at this point that our prediction of 3 hours and above for Lickitung might have been a little bit pessimistic. We've had a much smoother start to the challenge than I expected, so I'm thinking now around the 2.25 to 2.5 hour mark is much more likely. Poliwrath there didn't get a chance to hit us, and we do get Chuck's badge, the Storm badge, in 53 minutes and 13 seconds. That gives us the air balloon, so let's do some housekeeping. And that is the housekeeping done for another challenge. I've ended up teaching Surf in place of Thunder Punch as well in this one. I think Surf is going to be a handy move for this middle chunk of the challenge. It's going to be super effective against Jasmine's ace and Price's ace. And then if we need to, we can get rid of it straight after Price by going into Blackthorn City and using the move deleter. So we do have options with our learn set. We're in that lovely part of the game where any HMs we teach are potentially only very temporary. Let us now take on Jasmine. She is our 6th gym leader together today. A Steel type specialist leads with Magnemite. Magnemite has no special defense, so it goes down in a single fire punch each. What about the Steelix? Not quite a one-shot. Critical hit there from Iron Tail, but it is all over for Jasmine. 2 further hits knocks out the Steelix, and we obtain the Mineral Badge in 57 minutes and 44 seconds. I don't think Sub-Hour Claire's on the cards today, but we are still making a very good time considering everything that is going against this poor Lickitung. It isn't Lickitung's fault that it is so bad. It's Game Freak's fault for making Lickitung bad, and we both just have to make the best of a bad situation. And now we have cleared out the Mahogany Underground once and for all in this challenge. We do get the Bath Plug as well as the Whirlpool HM. That does mean we can leave here and we can go straight into Price's gym now. We do of course have Border Douglas to contend with before we get through to the main event. How much does Strength do against Shelter? It's one-shots. That's not bad, you know. How about a Fire Punch? It one-shots Cloyster, even better. And we'll use a Strength against Shelter number 2. Not bad going, Lickitung. Let's see if you can keep it up now against Price. Price is our 7th gym leader together today, and Ice-type Specialist leads with Seal. We one-shot the Seal with Strength, on to the Dugong we go. We'll go for a Headbutt and fish for a flinch. We don't get it, but Aurora Beam does not drop our attack. And then we can probably just surf away this Piloswine. Not bad stuff at all. I think we're in the good part of the challenge at the moment with Lickitung. 102.39 for our 7th and penultimate Johtonian badge, the Glacier badge. And talking of Glacier and things that are chilly, we're going to go through the Ice Path now. Here in the Ice Path today, we will pick up the Nenmelt Ice just in case we need it for the Lance battle. We're going to get ourselves the regular other items that we get in here as well. We'll use some of them, we'll sell some of them, but they are all incredibly useful to get. I think the Ice Path is the most fortuitous part of this entire challenge, you know. We get a lot of good items in here. And now that we're out the other end of the Ice Path, we will fly to Blackthorn. We'll be going to the move deleter in just a moment, but I want to make use of the rappel steps that we still have available to us. Let's pick up a couple more items first. So down here we go. We'll grab this extra elixir. We'll try and time this lady today. We get past her first try. There are miracles that can happen in these challenges. We will then go this side and go down to get our extra PP up. I don't really mind having an extra encounter. It's just going to give us an extra bit of experience there. We will pick up the PP up, and then I do think it's worth doing the little loop-de-loop round to get the extra Perscure Berry in this one as well. Having 2 Perscure Berries means we can play a little bit riskier at both Claire and Lance. And now that we're in Blackthorn again, we will go to the move deleter and we'll say goodbye to Strength. It served us well in the midpoint of the challenge. However, Return is going to be taking its place. I'm going to keep on to Surf for now. I'm not sure how long that will stay on the learn set, but it is a useful move to have for certain trainers coming up. May end up using Surf in the late game as well, depending on the tutor moves that we have available to us and the ones that I decide to pick for our Lickitung. So it is still very much up in the air. And now with about half of the rockets taken care of, it is of course going to be time for rival number 4. Got to go into the basements of the Goldenrod Underground for this one, and hopefully we'll have a fairly easy time of it. He leads with Golbat. We're probably going to end up being confused, or we can outspeed it, even better. Up next is going to be Magnemites. We'll use the Surf on that, take care of it in one hit, and we will Surf on the Haunter. We have been put on a clock because that Haunter swore at us, but I don't think that will be too much of an issue, because we can one-shot the Sneasel, and then it's probably going to be a 2-shot on this Meganium. We flinch it, we'll finish it off with Return, and that was a very, very smooth rival number 4. We can now move on for the rest of the rocket section, which isn't going to be pleasant, but it needs to get done. And I will say Lickitung is very much surpassing my expectations at this point in the challenge. I know that what's coming up ahead of us is going to be a lot harder, but Lickitung really is putting in the work at this point, and it has just dawned on me just how much Lickitung looks like a red panda with the pose it's doing in the back sprite there. It might not have the same overall appearance as a red panda, but I know a red panda intimidating pose when I see one in a back sprite. And now we have just one more executive to go at the top of the radio tower here. He is going to lead with Houndour, we'll outspeed the Houndour, and we'll one-shot it with Return. Return is already at maximum power, by the way. Normally maxes out for the Claire fight, but because we've done quite a few extra battles and we had a lot of extra walking and grinding at the beginning of the challenge, we did manage to max it out a little bit sooner. That might have helped some ranges, you know, up here in the radio tower. We one-shot the Team Rocket Fortress's Golbat, for instance, and that was probably going to be a range at other points in the challenge. I'm also holding on to the Scamulet coin at the moment. This is a conscious choice to hold on to it for as long as possible. Goodness me. Let's get this questionnaire right, because I don't know what, if any, tutor moves I'm going to want by the end of the challenge, and I want to potentially go into red with multiple tutor moves that are different to the ones that we'll want for the lion's share of Kanto. So I do think for now, unless we absolutely have to hold on to a different item, the Scamulet coin is going to be glued to our Lickitung so that we can make as much cash money moolah as possible. There are 3 or 4 different ways that we could try and face red that I'm thinking of, and I want to be able to have everything in my back pocket to make all of them potential viable strategies, and for that we're going to need a lot of money. Let's see, we one-shot the Dragonair there without the pink bow. That makes me feel good. Claire's title card is coming on a lot sooner than it should be. This isn't Claire, this is Lola, but we'll pretend she's Claire for now. And we have defeated her, and we've got the warm-up all done and dusted. Let's now go on to Claire herself. This is where the title card should come up. She is, of course, our final Jotonian leader, led with Dragonair, and we do outspeed the Dragonair, which is a very good sign, because it means that we're not going to be getting Thunder Wave from them. So we'll get rid of all 3 of the Dragonair, and we'll move on to the Kingdra. Probably not going to be a one-shot on the Kingdra, so instead we'll do a 1-2 with a headbutt and a return. That means Claire is defeated on our first attempt. We can exit here, and we can now rush into the Dragon's Den. We've got to make sure to stick on a repel. I've been bitten far too many times by fish in that little pond there on the way to the Dragon's Den. We've got everyone's favourite nasty little man here, Cool Trainer Darren, ruining our day. But now that we have beaten him up, we can forget about him once and for all for this challenge. We've got to get into the Dragon's Den now, and we've got to answer a brief little survey. It is 11212. Hopefully we'll get this one correct, and that will trigger Claire to come in to the Dragon's Den. She's just as shocked as I am that we got through this questionnaire, considering we're running a Lickitung. She does begrudgingly give the badge in 1:17:09. So we aren't on the worst possible pace we could be for a Lickitung. Not going to break any records in this particular challenge, but we are doing a heck of a lot better than I ever anticipated with Lickitung, and that makes me feel so blooming good for our Lickitung. I'm now going to do a final bit of prep work here in Johto before we go into Victory Road. I ended up doing so much in that little section there between getting Claire's badge and coming towards Victory Road. It felt like a real-life chore. We did an awful lot. I picked up quite a few items that I thought would be useful. We ended up getting rid of Surf because I don't think we're going to be needing Surf for the Pokemon League. We then picked up a Goldberry, got the extra rare candies early, seeing as we had Repel Steps to spare. Ended up getting the Lantern as well, just to complete that little side quest and get a little bit of extra cash money moolah. And now we are well on our way towards the Pokemon League. Lickitung doesn't actually have a bad learn set, it just doesn't have the stats to really back up its learn set, and that's the issue with this Pokemon. I am wondering, how well or badly Licky would fare throughout the course of Generation 2, so you never know. I might break my rule of not doing backports on videos this year to do a little cheeky extra bonus video at some point with Licky. I feel kind of okay doing backport evolutions as opposed to just full-on backports, especially after we have just run a Pokemon last year. We did Gligar and then Gliscor, and that was a really fun pair of runs. So I think we might end up doing something similar, but no promises on that at the moment. Now, here in Victory Road, there are 2 things we want to pick up. The first is a HP up, but our bag is full because I picked up a whole load of crap that we're probably not going to need. We don't need Hyper Potions at this point, so we'll grab the HP up. But arguably more importantly in Victory Road, we have TM26. Now that is Earthquake. Earthquake is going to be a fantastic move for us. That gives us a strong attack, not only against the Steel types, but against the Ghost types as well. Let's now engage the rival in one final battle. He led with Sneasel. Sneasel tried its best with the Feint attack, but it really didn't get anywhere very quickly. We'll use a return on the Golbat. Here comes the Magneton. We'll make our debut with Earthquake on the Magneton, and we'll continue with the Haunter. That brings us on to the Kadabra, where we will use a return as it goes for Future Sight of all moves for no real good reason, and then it'll just be a pair of return against the Meganium. Not a bad little rival 5 there in 1:23:14. Let's do a cursory little PP heal here. We will buy some full restores from the Pokemart. And now we'll park ourselves in front of the stairs at the Pokemon League to take a look at our stats and make some predictions before going in. We are level 52 with 188 HP, holding the Scamulet coin with Return, Fire Punch, Headbutt, and Earthquake. 101 in attack, 117 in defense, 104 in special attack, 120 in special defense, but just 73 in speed. Please don't forget these are just the out of battle stats. We will get a big buff in battle when we face our first league member, Will. Now, as for this league, I think it's anybody's guess. There are many trainers where it could go wrong because of our low speed stat and the fact that we don't really have the best offensive stats in the world. I think this is where the difficulty will start ramping up a little bit. I don't think Lickitung's going to have the worst time through the league, but I don't think it will be as smooth as we have been used to in recent challenges. But we are going to give it a bloody good go regardless. And with all that out of the way, let's get ourselves in to the Pokemon League. Our first league member is going to be Will. He is, of course, a Psychic type specialist, and he's going to lead with Xatu. Xatu goes straight for Psychic. We knock it out in one with a return and grow up to level 53. We're not going to outspeed the Jinx, but once again, not going for a status move, so we can knock it out in a single hit. Now, we're going to fish for a flinch against the Executor. We do get it, and that is the perfect luck we need to get through it. Probably going to be 2 shots with return against the Slowbro, as once again, he's going all-out offensive in this one, which is a little bit concerning, but you never know, we might be able to scrape a victory here. Surviving on 2, we just about do, and we get through Will in a time of 1:24.04. We are going to need to use a full restore quick sharpen in a hurry though, as we take on Koga. Second league member, of course, a poison type specialist who's going to lead with Ariados. We'll use return against the Ariados, we knock it out in one, and up next is going to be Venomoth. Venomoth going for a Psychic, it got a crit, but it still didn't do much really, did it? Up third is Fortress, we've got a Fire Punch just for the Fortress, we knock it out in a single hit, and we move on to Muck. I reckon fish for a flinch again is the best idea. It didn't happen here, but we will use an Earthquake and we don't quite one-shot it. This means we have been toxicked. It's not great for the Crobat. I think we've just got to hope that we don't get stalled by Koga here. We get a crit, we get the luck, we get through Koga. That was more luck than anything else getting through Koga. We will now use another full restore if I can find them in the bag. I really do need to start sorting my bag out again. It's become an absolute mess in recent challenges. We'll take on Bruno. I'm not expecting an easy time here, but you never know. Stranger things have happened. We'll use return against the Hitmontop and finish it off with an Earthquake. And then we're on to the Hitmonlee. We don't outspeed the Hitmonlee and take 2 turns of double kick damage, and we're going to take some guaranteed damage from this Hitmonchan's Muck Punch as well. Oh dear, we don't quite one-shot the Hitmonchan. That is a little bit scary. Do we outspeed the Machamp? We do. We flinch, we get rid of the Machamp, we grow to 55, we just have Onix left to go. Onix doesn't have great attacks, so we can tank an Earthquake, and we have first tried Bruno. Well done, Lickitung. That was one of the harder battles you were due to come up against, and you absolutely aced it. I'm very proud of Lickitung for that one, I've got to say. We are going to use the HP up strategy here. We are going to hold on to one of our Bitter Berries as well, and we'll give our Lickitung the best possible chance of getting through Karen. I'm also thinking at this point I want to have Ice Punch on the learn set, just in case of desperate times and we need to go for freeze strats. I don't think we'll need them, but it's always good to have in the back pocket. She leads rather with Umbreon. We'll use return, Sand Attack has hit, not much we could do there, we did everything we could to avoid that. Vileplume is second, we'll fish for a flinch, both of us missing there, and she locks herself into Petal Dance. We miss a return, but our second return connects. Here comes the Gengar. We get sworn at, but we do connect with Earthquake. That is good. Please hit the Murkrow. Please do hit the Murkrow. Yes, we are almost through Karen. One Earthquake will seal the fate of the Houndoom. It went for Roar there for some reason. We definitely wouldn't have naturally outsped that Houndoom. But I'm not going to complain. That was an easy Karen. Lickitung has done what many Pokemon have not been able to do with a first try Karen there. Now, here comes Lance, the liar with the flyers, and I'm going to stick with our current learn set here. It's served us well so far. Let us see how we get on. He leads with Gyarados. Gyarados sets up the rain. We're not going to complain at that, and we two-shot it. Here comes Dragonite number 1. We don't outspeed Pooh. Right, okay. That's a little bit scary. At least we can't be frozen if we're paralysed. And to be fair, I don't think we'd be outspeeding most of these Pokemon anyway. It's the para-flinches that I'm worried about. We critical hit the Aerodactyl there as we grow up another level. We don't have anything to one-shot this Zard. Can we two-shot it? No, we can't. Right, we are going to need to hold on to a Persian Berry here. Where are they? They're hiding in the bag. They're an early item that we pick up. Maybe we can get a little bit lucky with the Persian Berry. I'm going to save, actually, pre-Lance, in case we need to make some more modifications to the learn set. I think we're good fishing out the Rain Dance on turn 1 for the Gyarados, and we can move ourselves on to the Dragonite again. Thunderwave got a Gen 2 miss. That means we're not getting paralysed by Thunderwave in this particular attempt, because we have the Persian Berry for the second one. We're still not going to outspeed this Aerodactyl, but we have a greater chance of being able to attack it now. Locked into Hyper Beam, that is fine. We grow up to 57 once more. Here comes the pesky Charizard again. Once again, we're not going to be able to outspeed it. The big devastation here would be if it burnt us. Now, it's going to be tight against this last Dragonite. Outrage knocks us out. Right. I think, I didn't want to have to, but I think I'm going to use a couple of rare candies here. And actually, while I think about it, it's probably going to be worth sacking Headbutt as well in place of Surf. Headbutt is an infinitely renewable HM, and we can take advantage of the rain being up, because we're not going to outspeed anything at Lance. So we'll give him another go now. He leads with Gyarados. We'll use Return. Hopefully he will set up the rain. He has. And we finish it off on turn 2. Here comes Dragonite number 1. And we don't get the outspeed, unfortunately, but we are able to knock it out with an Ice Punch. We get the outspeed. We must be speed-tied with the second Dragonite. Here comes Aerodactyl. As long as we don't flinch, we should be in with one-shotting it. Yes, just like that. Charizard is next. The rain has stopped, and we've been burnt, which isn't great, but we might just be able to do it. Maybe, question mark, that burn could potentially, and a crit. Oh, horrible, horrible luck there at Lance, but this is the strat. We just got some terrible, terrible luck right at the very end there. We double return the Gyarados. Now, we know we're speed-tied against these Dragonite. We've outsped one. We don't need to worry at all now about being paralysed. In fact, we outsped both of them on this occasion. Here comes the Aerodactyl. Ancient Power doesn't get an Omni Boost, and it doesn't crit this time. We knock it out in one. We're back onto the Zard. We haven't been burnt this time, so we can knock it out in 2. We've got 93 HP now for the final Dragonite. That should be more than enough. I think we would have survived that Outrage first time if it didn't crit. But that is still a very, very respectable time. 1 hour, 30 minutes and 28 seconds for Lickitung through the Lance fight. Let's see how that translates to our final Hall of Fame time for this one. And we are clocking in at 1 hour, 30 minutes and 44 seconds. With that, let's take a look at the midpoint leaderboards. And yeah, it's unsurprising, but we are on the last page, 91st place for the midpoint through the first part of this challenge for our main series leaderboard. But I still don't think that is anywhere near as bad as it could have been. We really have put in a lot of effort. Now, our main series is the most competitive leaderboard of them all. So, being at the top of the last page, there's absolutely no shame in that. Now, if we take a look at our All Crystal Challenge leaderboard, we are in 160th place. We're not actually that far behind Gligar, you know. That's not too shabby. In between Gligar and Togetic there. and we are not on the last page, so there is still some hope for Lickitung yet. But don't forget, this is only half the story. There are still another 8 gym badges plus the red fight left to come, and honestly, I think in this one, it could be a bit of a slog. I don't think Kanto is going to be quite as harmless as it usually is. So I tell you what, don't you dare go anywhere, because Kanto is next. And now we are rejoining the action as we always do here in Vermilion City, where the first thing we'll do in Kanto is get another rare candy, this time from the chairman of the Pokémon fan club. With that safely tucked away in our bag for another challenge, you may have noticed I've declined getting any move tutor moves quite yet. Still keeping my options very much open. I think in the Kanto section we are going to be absolutely fine with our current moves. We do have Headbutt, of course, in our back pocket in case we need to flinch any opponents. And we're going to try Surge first. I can't see him being too problematic. Thunder misses, which is a very, very good start. And we are on to Electrode. There's absolutely no hope of us ever outspeeding these Electrode, but we should be able to outspeed the Magneton. We'll use a quad super effective Earthquake against it. Swap back to Return for the other Electrode. Grow up to level 60, and our last Pokemon is Electabuzz. Another Thunder Miss. The game is making up for the horrible, horrible RNG at Lance there, and we get through in 133.06. With that, we will start making our way towards Celadon City next, where we are going to face our second gym leader. And now, having a look at that leaderboard, at the midpoint of the challenge, we have a chance, not a high chance, but we have a chance of a sub to our challenge with Lickitung at this point. Red is a very, 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 and I cannot overstate how difficult Red is, but there is a chance depending on the luck we get. I might end up doing full scumbag strat, you know, and curse, return, double team, and some other stalling move, maybe Protect, but I really don't want to have to do that. I think Lickitung has proven itself to be more than capable of at least giving it a good go without resorting to the cheesy strats. And with a Pokemon like this, I've got to be honest, I'm not aiming for best possible time. I'm aiming to have the most possible fun and to see just how we can beat Red. With this one, it's an achievement if you can just get it over the line. Let's move on to Erica now. Grass-type specialist led with Tangela. We had Ice Punch, so it goes down in 1. We have been leech-seeded by the Jumpluff, but hopefully that won't mean too much in the grand scheme of things. We're just going to continue Ice Punching our way through the rest of this battle. We end up taking a little bit of damage there against the Blossom, and she is healing looping, but will be absolutely A-okay. There we go, another gym leader down. That's Erica defeated. Rainbow badge acquired in 134.44. Now, we are going to hold on to the Scamulet coin again, I think now, for the next little while. I don't think we need to heal for Janine, although we could end up being confused by her Crobat. There's probably next to no chance that we outspeed the Crobat. I think even if we saved Janine until fairly late on in proceedings, we wouldn't outspeed it. So the likelihood is we are going to be confused. So actually we could hold on to one of the bitter berries. That would probably be a more sensible idea, wouldn't it? Seeing as we do have spare bitter berries, and then when we menu again for the rock tunnel section, that is when we'll stick on the Scamulet coin. So let us now engage her in battle. She is our third Cantonian gym leader. She is a poison type specialist, leads with Crobat. And after all of that, Crobat just screamed bloody murder at us. That should give us the win, though. We can keep on holding the return button now, and all of her Pokemon will go down. Her only really nippy Pokemon is her Crobat, so we were in no danger for the rest of the battle there, and we obtained the Soul Badge in 135.55. Not bad going at all. So now what we will do is we will swap back to the Scamulet coin, because I don't think we're going to outspeed anything at Sabrina, so there's no sense in trying to worry about that. We'll stick in that on return as well, and we'll make our way back to Saffron City. I think I dipped in the Pokemon Center there. Yes, I did. Now, I've started healing in this one as opposed to the Rock Tunnel one, just in case my Rock Tunnel movement is a little bit bad. so it does give me a little bit more insurance. It was my fault there for getting caught by him. You know what? We might need the extra experience. It's 3 Magnemite, it's not going to do much, but it could maybe, question mark, tip something over a stat number for the stat experience. I don't know, but we've taken Super Nerd Tom on now, and we can make our way through the rock tunnel. And now that we're out the other side of the rock tunnel, we can have a little chat with the man at the power plant. He is going to be very annoyed, of course, that somebody has stolen his machine part, but I think it's an inside job. Look, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people, including a security guard, working in this power plant. Are you telling me that not a single one of them spotted a dodgy man wearing a Rocket uniform? This is Kanto after all. Team Rocket are well known in Kanto. We could kind of forgive it if it was Johto, but they've got no excuse. I think they are all in on the act. Let's take on Sabrina now. She didn't reflect with Espeon, that's a very good start. Here comes Mr. Mime, we do outspeed that, and the last Pokemon is going to be Alakazam. Alakazam hits us kind of hard with Psychic, but not enough to do any kind of meaningful damage, and we obtain the Marsh Badge in 1:38:06. So we are now halfway through our Cantonian leaders. I am going to use a full restore at this point, just to make sure that we have enough health for what is about to come, because you all know what comes straight after Sabrina. It is dipping in the Cerulean Gym, and now it's time for everyone's favourite part. It's Nugget Bridge time. And in this Nugget Bridge, I want to take the time to respond to a couple of comments. The first one was from somebody asking about the King's Rock. It was from the Salamence Challenge, where they thought the King's Rock might have been a useful item to hold on to, and I kind of agree. I have been negating the King's Rock for about 2.5 years, I would say, maybe a little bit shorter than that. Mostly because I find the 10% chance to flinch doesn't really give us that much of an advantage. The King's Rock is quite out of the way to get, and I've just found it's not really been worth the time and effort to go and get it. But in recent challenges I have started picking it up again if I think it could be useful. The trouble with the King's Rock is it really is a very circumstantial item as well. If you're a fast Pokemon with relatively low attack, I'd definitely consider picking it up if you don't have Headbutt. But if you do have Headbutt, you're always better off holding onto the Pink Bow and Headbutt in those circumstances, because in this generation, Headbutt and the King's Rock unfortunately do not stack. But yeah, I think the King's Rock is a very, very useful item to have, and one that is always at the back of my mind, even if I don't end up using it in a challenge. I can't remember which one it was I ran recently, but there was definitely a King's Rock in the bag. And I'm sure if you see some of the very, very janky menuing that we did together in that challenge, you would notice the King's Rock sitting there not really doing much of anything because we didn't end up needing it. But I hope that addresses the query. And with that, it's time for Misty. Our next gym leader, Water-type Specialist, leads with Golduck that goes down in 1. Up next is Quagsire. Are we going to one-shot it? Not quite, but it uses Amnesia, so it doesn't really matter. Lapras is big, it's bulky. Will it sing at us? No, it dances for us instead. That means we pretty much have the win in the bag. Nice and easy Misty there. Cascade Badge acquired in a time of 1:40:37. We'll get the machine part. We will then make our way back over to the power plant, and we will return this machine part to its rightful owner. And then I ended up waffling a little bit with that Nugget Bridge section. There was another comment I very quickly wanted to talk about as well. I just want to say thank you to the person who said the very kind words about the variety of series here on the channel. It really, really does mean a lot that you are enjoying all of the different series we have. I try to make the challenge runs a little bit different to what you would normally expect to see. I say that as we're playing one of our classic challenge runs here, but I really do like toying with the formula in a way that is still very much recognisable as a challenge run, but isn't necessarily quite the same formula that you see elsewhere on YouTube. There are plenty of other runners who do a much better job than me in the solo run department, so I like branching off a little bit, maybe doing something that the other people wouldn't consider or want to do. And I think the more people that do solo running, the better. in this environment as well. I've never been one who's been overly protective of the formats I run. I always encourage everyone else, give it a go. I enjoy it and I hope you will too. That's the attitude I have always taken to challenge running, because nobody owns the format, nobody will ever own the format. And the more of us that are doing it, the more strategies we come up with, the more ideas we have, and the more fun we have. And that is what this is about. I say it all the blooming time, but I just want to have fun doing these runs. And I think if I want to have fun doing these runs, a lot of you will probably want to have fun doing them as well. 1:42.35 there for the Brock split. We did say hello to 3 Drill en route as well. And we can now make our way towards Blaine. And now as we are getting towards the final parts of this challenge, I'm starting to decompress a little bit before Blue and Red. And I've got to say, Lickitung has impressed me an awful lot throughout the course of this one. I was going in expecting an awful lot harder challenge, at least up until this point, than we ended up having, so Lickitung can be very, very proud of itself, regardless of what happens with both Blue and Red, because it could be tough. Let's now take on Blaine. He is our penultimate gym leader, fire type specialist led with Macargo that went down in 1. We'll use return against the Bumhead Fire Duck, and then we will also return against the Rapidash. Fire Blast there could have burnt us, but it didn't. So we are in a very good position to get our next badge. Let us now equip the leftovers at this point. I think we've done enough cash building. We will also use... Do we have any full restores? Goodness me, we don't have any heals. Right, okay, backup strats. We go into the Pokemon Center. We get our health that way. It's absolutely fine. And we will park ourselves now in front of Blue. And I'm actually going to take a moment to think about how I want to face Blue. I've had a little think, I've rehydrated, and we'll just get into it. I think brute force might be the only way to get through Blue. We are holding on to the leftovers, so we are going to be able to regain a lot of our HP. And Pidgeot goes straight for Wing Attack, which is interesting there. Was kind of expecting for him to go for some kind of status move. Alakazam gets the Reflect Up, that's kind of annoying, but he is going to semi-healing loop himself here, and that should help us out by stalling most of the Reflect turns. We can use Surf against the Rhydon. We are at full health as we grow up to level 66, and up next is Gyarados. We don't have anything fantastic for the Gyarados, but the Reflect has now faded. Hydro Pump hits us fairly hard, but he should be getting himself caught in a little bit of a healing loop. And once again, we can use this as time to recover HP with our leftovers. Executor is next. He's probably going to try Leech Seeding us here. He does, and we have been seeded. That's more annoying than anything else, but we get through in 2. Arcanine is last. If we survive a Fire Blast, or he can just go for Roar. Okay, you threw Blue. I don't know why you threw, but I'm not going to complain. There we go. Easy, easy Blue. No need to worry at all. The RNG has said, you've put up with a Lickitung for this long. Let us give you a little bit of a freebie. We'll now chat with Professor Oak here in Silver Cave. I'm all kinds of thrown after that. And I'm trying to think, is it worth me going into Celadon? Probably. I want to try and buy some bits. Let us in here. Try and remember where the TM vendor is. I want to get myself a Protect TM from here. Then we are going to go into the game corner. I am going to, before I forget, change the time of day, because I want to go and get our Curse TM as well. I'm not going to try it straight off the bat, but I'd rather get all of this movement done right here, right now, before we commit to anything. So we will get the Curse TM from this man telling the very, very spooky story at the top of Celadon condominiums here. And Celadon has even more stuff for us to do because we've got to go into the game corner next. Now, when we buy the double TM, the double team TM rather, I want you to pay attention to the bloke in the corner who is clearly an eavesdropping so-and-so, because watch, he turns when we buy our TM there. Very, very strange stuff. Bit of a creep, if I've got to be honest with you. And now, oh, it's night time. Kind of not used to cycling in the night after all of this time. we are going to make our way back to Johto. We aren't quite ready for red yet. Still a few more bits and pieces that need to be done. We will go next to Blackthorn City, where we are going to say goodbye to Surf at this point. We can relearn Surf if we need to later on, and I think getting rid of Surf is a very good idea. Now, where are we off to next, I hear you ask? It's Goldenrod City time next, where we are going to change the day and time again. We're going to get rid of nighttime. It's a little bit too spooky and scary, but we are going to go into the department store and sell a load of stuff that we don't need to try and get us back over that 160,000 threshold. So what aren't we going to use? We aren't going to use Zap Cannon. We're not going to use Toxic. Don't think we've got any use case for Hidden Power. Giga Drain, useless. Shadow Ball, no. Double Team will keep. Don't need the punch now. Don't need either of those punches. There we go. We have enough money because we are going to go into the game corner now, and we've got to navigate through this awful menu. At least it's not like the Generation 1 menu, where I believe you can only buy 50 coins at a time. We can, at least in Generation 2, buy 500 at once. And now I'm trying to think what moves are going to be best here at the Move Tutor. Thunderbolt is going to be super effective against both Charizard and Blastoise, so that is definitely going to give us a good chance of getting through both of those. And we can, of course, then Paralyze off the Thunderbolt. We aren't going to be wanting to focus on our physical attacks on this particular occasion as well, because we're going to be slower than the Pikachu. Pikachu likes charming us, and that could be curtains for us. So I think having special attacks be our focus is going to be the way to go. Those two moves are going to provide super effective coverage, Thunderbolt and Ice Beam, for a half of Red's team. We then have the chance to freeze the Snorlax as well. That's my logic there anyway. I am trying to think what we should do in slot number 4. I think the first one, though, that we will commit to is Thunderbolt. That one is super effective against 2 of Red's team. Now, we are going to have to change the day and time again. We'll move up to Wednesday now, and we'll keep it at morning, so we have that lovely yellowy palette. And he is back there. Let us get rid of Ice Punch now, and we will replace it with Ice Beam. So we currently have Return, Ice Beam, Earthquake, and Thunderbolt. That Earthquake feels a little bit redundant to me. I'm wondering whether we should go for a status move in that slot. Possibly even something like Double Team, you know, so that we can boost our evasion and still hit very hard with our 2 special moves. I say very hard, hit as hard as we can with a Lickitung, because Earthquake isn't really going to be that important, I've got to be honest. There's no real need for it at this point. I'm not going to commit now, actually. I will wait until we are in front of Red, and I'll drop a hard save, just in case we need Double Team for something else later with a different strategy. But with that, we can stick on another Max Repel after we've grabbed our next rare candy. And we're also going to do our quick check like we always do, to see how close we are to a level, see if it is worth, yeah, I think it is probably worth taking on a few wilds once again, just so that we can get the highest level possible. So we'll go into the Pokemon Center and we'll beat up some wilds before going into Silver Cave. Once again, on this challenge, it's all about trying to play a little bit smarter than I normally do. Slow things down where we need to, take that little bit of a short-term hit with our time to hopefully get a bit more of a long-term gain with a better time at the end, because that means we are going to get up to a level 75 for the Red battle. And with all that out of the way now, let's get ourselves into Silver Cave. It is going to be now or never. It's all coming down to this, and hopefully we'll have a good time at Red. I very much doubt it. I've done Red with Lickitung before. I know that it can be tricky, but level 75 is where we are starting proceedings. I've dropped a hard save just in case we do need to switch things up. I am going to go back into the bag now. We will get our Double Team, and we will see how we get on. This is Red, the final trainer of the challenge, and he's going to lead with Pikachu. We'll use Return against the Pikachu. Charm has failed, and Return is a one-shot. On to the Espeon next. I think we use this opportunity to try and set up a few double teams. Goodness me, that was a crit. How very, very mean of you, Red. He's going for Swift now, though. That is good. That means that he is seeing that we are at a very high evasion level. We have 6 double teams done now. Let us use a Return here, see how much we do against the Espeon. Not that much. Psychic has hit, and we are on to the Snorlax next. We can fish for a freeze. We do outspeed. Body Slam has missed. Fishing for a freeze is our best chance of getting through, and we've got one. Goodness me. Right, what do we do? Stall? I think we stall. I think we just stall and hope that this Snorlax's freeze sticks around as long as possible. It's a 1 in 10 every single time for it to thaw out. As long as we can keep on recovering. Really, I'm risking it here. We're out of PP. Let's use Return. We've knocked it out, but we are now in very good stead for the Venusaur. Let us use an Ice Beam against this. He's gone for Sunny Day, which isn't great. Solar Beam could hit us very hard, but we are now back at maximum health for the Charizard. What do we do here? We go for Thunderbolt. Of course, we go for Thunderbolt. Flamethrower's hit. That is not great. The Sunlight is strong. Flamethrower's hitting us again, and it knocks us out. That was devastating. I think we have the strat already, though, for this one. Thunder's missed. That's good. Get rid of the Pikachu. Start double teaming against the Espeon. It's gone straight for Psychic this time, though, instead of setting up Reflect. That's not what we want to see. Gonna take a reset. Could try setting up against the Pikachu. It's probably not going to be a smart idea, but we are mostly focusing on our special moves as opposed to our physical moves. Thunder should start missing fairly consistently now because we are at maximum evasion. In fact, I used one too many there. We will use Return against this Pikachu. It's going to be a 2-shot because we did get charmed, I do believe. On to the Espeon we go. I think we use a Thunderbolt and try and paralyze this thing. We are going to be taking chip damage from Swift the entire way through, but we 3-shot the Espeon. Here comes Snorlax. Ice Beam, please freeze. Oh my goodness, we've frozen it again. Oh my goodness, we have frozen it again. We just need to hope this bear stays frozen. No. And we're paralyzed. Blummin' heck. Oh, it's giving us little kinds of hints of what it could potentially give us. But we are just getting duff RNG at the pivotal moments, aren't we? And now we are in Purgatory with this Pikachu again. I'm going to keep on setting up against the Pikachu for now. I think that is going to be our better option because I don't want to risk getting hit very hard by that Espeon. Although, having said that, his Thunder's got a bloomin' laser beam attached to it, hasn't it? Every single one of them hitting us. How secret potion of you. Let us try again. How many Thunders is this that have hit in a row now without paralysing, though? And a Charm. Why not? Don't really mind being charmed. It is the damage that we're taking from Thunder which is more annoying. We are going to 2-shot this Pikachu. Hopefully Thunder doesn't hit us again. Full Restore's great for us, actually. It means that we can regain a little bit of extra health. I think Thunderbolt is the play against this Espeon as well. You never know, we might paralyse it. If we paralyse it, we are in with a chance of outspeeding it. But in the end, we didn't paralyse it, and we are on 203 HP for the Snorlax. Once again, we're just going to try and freeze this thing, and we've got it again. Right, take 3. Is this going to be the one? No, it's not, because he's defrosted. Ice Beam again. Rest, okay. I think we're in a bit of a loop with this Snorlax at the moment. Which isn't what we want, really, all things considered. A crit could save it, though, because a crit does, of course, ignore stat changes. Is this a range? It was probably a range, and we didn't knock it out. Please, Lickitung, find a critical hit somewhere inside of you. I know you can do it. You're doing really well. Please, no. Try again. And we start all over again. We do the double teams against Pikachu. We try and cheese this battle, but Pikachu's having none of it. He's like, what? There's many of them. I'll just make the Thunderbolt even bigger. Let us try that once more. Charm we don't really care about. We are mostly focusing on our special attacks. One more, please don't paralyze. And then we're on to return. It's going to be a two-shot, and he didn't bother to heal this time, but we are nearly at full health for the Peskeon. We're going to try again with the paralysis strats here. It seems like Thunderbolt has lost its secondary effects for us. I don't think we've paralysed a single thing yet. Reflect is up, that's more of a hindrance than anything else. It doesn't mean too much in the grand scheme of things. We've been very lucky with the freezes so far. I don't think we're going to get that same luck again for quite some time. Maybe we are. Maybe we are. I think return, actually. And hope that we don't crit. It's been defrosted. Let's return. We've knocked it out. We're not in a great place now for the Venusaur. But we will go for an Ice Beam. He's just taken in Sunlight. Solar Beam has missed. That means that Flamethrower isn't going to hit us quite as hard as it otherwise would. Now, please paralyze this Zard. We haven't paralysed. Flamethrower's hit us. But we are on 111 for the Blastoise. I think this is going to be a three-shot. Or we can crit. I think we have the victory. 156-59. Up yours, Red. We have beaten you with a Lickitung. Let's take a look at the final leaderboard. And that time of 156.59 puts us in 89th place on the leaderboard. We got sub 2 hours with Lickitung. This is the main series leaderboard, and we are not on the last page. I can tell you the last time I attempted Lickitung, it was over 3 hours. So I am on cloud 9 at the moment with this particular challenge. It was a tricky one. It had a bad start. It wasn't particularly pleasant in the beginning, but we worked together, we persevered. Lickitung and I formed that connection, and my opinion of Lickitung has changed quite significantly. I actually kind of like this Pokemon now. Should we take a look at the full leaderboard, see where we are with every single Crystal Challenge? 167th place, just 1 second behind Blissey, and let me tell you, I have a much lower opinion of Blissey than I do of Lickitung after this challenge. But that is it for this one. Thank you for sticking around for the best part of an hour and a half in this one. I know it's a very, very long challenge. I do hope you've had fun though. If you have, make sure to leave a like. If you want to see more just like this, you can always click the subscribe button. Channel members do get early access to all of the challenge runs here on the channel, so feel free to join the HM Friends if you do want to see videos a little bit early. And of course, until next time, I will say thank you all so much for watching, and I will catch you all very, very soon for another Pokemon Crystal Challenge. You did well, Lickitung. That was all you and not me, and it was an absolute pleasure working with you. Thank you, Lickitung. This was a really, really fun challenge, and I think it's only fitting you get a name change.